You can master painting whimsical birds in just 5 minutes if you try this simple trick which I'm going to share with you. This month is Build-A-Bird month, part of our ongoing project to paint the world you want. So watch this video and see how I simplify the whole process of building a bird into 4 simple stages which everyone can do, whether you're a complete beginner or just for relaxation and fun. So let's get started. Now, to build a bird. A whimsical bird. What we have to do, what does a bird have? Teacher comes along and says, what are the main parts of a bird, children? Not that anyone ever talks about things like that anymore. But the first thing you have with a bird is, yes, Jimmy, what's the first thing that you think of with a bird? A wing. Yes, a wing. There we are. Birds have wings, and these are wings. You see how simple they are? We don't have to mess around making them look realistic. Everyone knows those are wings. That's perfect, isn't it? What else does a bird have, Jimmy? Miss, a beak? Well, yes, but we'll come to that later. Well, they have tails, miss. Okay, right. What kind of tail? Any kind of tail. Any shape, any colour, any size, any angle, doesn't matter. Here we are. We have a nice simple bird with a tail and wings. Okay, you can tell that's a bird, can't you? Because it's got the important features. Once we've got those 2 things, we can then add them to the body. Because that's the other thing that birds have, don't they, Jimmy? Yes, miss, little round bodies if they happen to be robins. So here we have 3 examples of little blobby birds. You remember about 100,000 years ago, I did a video with 3 little round birds in it, which has now got 750,000 views on it, which is just amazing. You wouldn't believe me if I told you that I didn't think that video ought to go up. That's the truth. When I'd done it, I said to Tamsin, I can't put this up. I'm embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed anymore, I can tell you. Right, so if you're going to build a bird, what we're going to do is make a blob. So shut up now, stop talking and get on with it. That's the algorithm whispering in my ear saying, don't you think you've said enough words? Don't you think you've exhausted the wordosphere? Isn't it time to shut the heck up and get on with it? Okay, Al. I'll do that. I'll do that thing. I need some water. I need some whiskey. No, I don't, not really. Okay, so I'll pick up some water. Which colour shall I use? Have you got a coin handy? And I'll toss the coin and see which colour to use. I don't know what colour to use. There are days, you know, guys, there are days when you say to yourself, why aren't I lying on a beach in the Caribbean? It's a very good question. I could have been. It would have been an option. We used to live there at one point. Unfortunately, the beaches in the Caribbean are generally occupied by sandflies and small poisonous spiders, so as well as rather unpleasant people. So that wasn't an option either. I didn't like that much. What colour shall I choose? I think I'll go for turquoise blue. I'm going to do one a bit like this. First one is going to be a bit like that. So let's put a bit of water in with my horizon blue, and then I'm going to just literally, as all good English people say frequently, I'm going to literally just splosh, and it doesn't matter where the head of the bird is meant to be, where the legs are meant to be, anything, nothing. If you want, you can add a second colour. So we could pick up some phthalo blue and drop some of that in. Okay, don't have to do that. Another thing that you can do, having done that, is you can add some more water and encourage it to go swoosh, swoosh all over the place. Don't do too much. And then another thing you can do, and you don't have to do any of these things, if you want to make it look like tapestry, get some table salt and just sprinkle that table salt onto your blobby bird. And then leave it alone, you know, let it mature. While that's happening, you can start on your second one. We'll do 2 on this page, I think. And I think we will do the second one in, what shall we do the second one in? Shall we make him pink? Do 1 pink and 1 blue? I think pink. Here we are. This is what Kuretake calls maroon. I'm not sure why. This is what they call Rose Madder Deep. That's a bit better. Yes, Rose Madder Deep with a bit of this. This one's from the Art Nouveau set. That gives us a nice raspberry ripple colour. So we're going to put that here. Okay, so we'll just make that body nice fat pink body. Okay, so while I'm not going to do anything else to that one, we'll just keep that one. Oh no, and maybe I'll put a little bit of quinacridone gold in there and see what happens to that. I'll just let that run a bit. Okay, now go back to this one, and I'm going to pick up some more of that dark bluish colour, and I'm going to put in a tail. Now, we had some tail examples over here, didn't we? So you can have your tail can go up or the tail can go down. I think they look more cheerful if their tails go up, and I quite like to do a tail something like that. That seems to me to be a reasonable kind of tail. And then you can also, if you want, put a little crest on their head like that. Okay, so you're already beginning to see the beginning of a bird. We're building a bird. This one, we need to go back to the pink. So what did we have? Rose Madder Deep. Make it a little bit darker. Looking at these here, maybe we'll come down rather than going up. That's a lovely pink. I like that pink. Pink makes you happy. Make it a bit bigger because the more the more pink you have, the better. Okay. So what we have to do now is we have to wait for this to dry, or we have to put the hairdryer on it. So I'll do that. Okay, well, I'm hoping that that's dry now, so I'll just scrape off the salt, and you'll see that a nice kind of texture appears underneath there, which is quite nice. This is reasonably subtle, and the amount of texture you get will depend on a few things. One will be the paper that you're using. Two will be how thick the paint is, what pigment the paint is, how much salt you use, how long you leave it, whether or not you dry it with a hairdryer or just naturally. All of these things will make a difference, but that has got a texture there, so you can see that, so that's nice. This one isn't dry yet, so I will go back to whacking it with this. Okay, so next thing then, little Jimmy insists that we go for the wing. The wing is on the bird, so I'm going to mix up some blue. This is kind of greenish blue, and my shapes that I had as samples here are like this, and honestly, you just do whatever comes to the point of your brush. It doesn't matter. You can make it bigger than this, or you can do it like that. Absolutely fine. And while I've got some nice dark paint on my brush, I'm going to pop in some legs, trying to keep them as straight as possible. And whoops. I knew that would happen. It's one of those days. Never mind. We have to give them both little knees now. That's what I used to call my sister. Either little knees or dirty knees. Her name was Denise. Yes. Then our eye is going to be up here, and I'm going to put a nice big circle for the eye, and then we'll draw the eye into that, okay? And we'll put some little eyelashes on. Someone said to me once, "You do know that birds don't have eyelashes, don't you?" And I'm like, well, actually, yes. Well, I don't think they do, anyway. but I still occasionally do it. Okay, now I've put some little stripes on the tail, and in a minute when that's all dry, we'll come back and put some white, and I'm going to put a beak here. I know that seems as if it's very close to the eye, but I think that's okay. Okay, so we'll leave that, and we'll go to this one now, and I'm going to go for a mixture of red with burnt sienna, and looking at my wing shapes again. You could do, I mean, you could do any shape really. You could have a straight one like that with a straight line. That's quite nice. And while I've got the red, I'm going to put the beak in here. And I'm just going to do that there to improve that shape a little bit because it's a little bit rough. And then we'll just add some water. This is a technique, you see. Add some water and you can smooth away the edges. I don't know why the dog's barking. Probably a cat. And lo and behold, it's time to go back to the hairdryer. Okay, so this one, now I'm going to put the legs in. I'm going to try coming up from the bottom. I think it's easier sometimes to do a straight line from the bottom to the top rather than the top to the bottom. That seemed to work reasonably well. And that one there is hard to get to in the right place, but there we go. And I know the legs are quite long. I'm going to give them some knees on that one. And then I'm going to paint a ring around where the eye is going to be there. And I'm going to do the beak a little bit darker, and we will embellish all of this as we go forward. I'm going to now go for some blue mixed with some brown to make a grey like that, and I'm going to use that just as a very soft grey hill for my birdie to stand on like that. All right, and then you can drop a little bit more in at the top, which will give you a little bit more shadow if you want. Make it a little bit darker if you feel the need. It's gone quite brown, a bit more blue. I always find it's amazing how brown and blue make grey. Okay, and this one, she's going to have the same, but a little smaller. Notice how I call her she, because she's pink, but could just as easily be a boy. Okay, now, next thing, we have the wing, we have the tail, we have the beginnings of the eye. I'm going to take the Artex acrylic marker and we'll work on this one first, and I'm going to do a nice big ring for the eye because this bird is, what would you call it? Not exactly a cartoon, but, well, anyway. And I've got patterns here on my wings of how to embellish. I'm not quite sure how to do it, but I think I'm going to go for this concentric semicircle thing with some bullseyes over here. And maybe I'll do a few of these. Okay. I think that's all right. And we'll put some white lines on his tail. And if you wanted to straighten out the wonky leg that you did, if anything like me, you can just paint over it and make the wonkiness go away, because these acrylic markers are really good like that. And then we need some black. You could use marker, or you could use fine liner, or you can use just paint. And I'm just going to paint the center of the eye, And then in a minute, when that's dry, I'll put a little light in there, yeah? And we'll put a line on his beak like that. And then on his back, he can have some patterns, maybe some spots in blue as well. So just something like this. And you could, if you wanted to, we can go for gold and we can outline those spots. You can do whatever you want. And notice that if you put salt on your paper to make that texture happen, there's a good chance that it will affect the sizing of the paper, not the size of it, that is to say how big it is, but the way that paint reacts to the paper, because the sizing seems to be, you know, on this paper anyway, I would say the sizing seems to be destroyed by salt. So that's something to bear in mind. It doesn't matter if you're looking for a kind of rustic kind of effect like this, which is what I've decided I'm looking for on my Build-A-Bird. I wasn't, but I am now. That's okay, you know, that's what mistakes are for. So we're going to leave him like that, and then I'll go, if he's dry, is that dry? More or less. And we just put a little light in there. And if you feel that that's a bit too stark, you can go around the outside edge and make that a little bit smaller. Okay, so there we are, that's that one done, more or less. Then we have this one over here, and I shall come in here and give him a black center to his eye, as we did before. Then I think I'll go around the outside edge like that. And then I'm going to mark in his beak with the pen. It's a completely different look, you see that? It's a completely different look. And then there's his little eye light. And we could do some nice, what could we do? What should we do on his tail? Should we do nice spots? If you haven't got any of these acrylic markers, it's a good idea actually, because they really are very good. I can't make up my mind what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm going to do that. It's probably not the best choice, but that's what I'm going to do. And then we do that. And then I'm going to do lots of dots, like stars. Okay, that'll do. Just put a little point there. And then we'll get some pink. I think I might go for the light pink. I'm not sure. We'll see if that shows up. I like the way the orange from the quinacridone gold has drifted up into the pink, pushed the pink away a little bit, actually. Oh, we could put a couple of pink dots up here. I'm not sure if that's an improvement. You see, when it's dry, it will disappear a little bit. There we are then. Okay, so that's that. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I think they came out okay. What do you think? I need to clean this little bit of paint off of here. So just take some clean water and just wet it and with a brush. And it should, with any luck, as long as it's not phthalo blue, which is permanent, which I think it is, it should disappear. Okay, so there we are. That's one way of doing a Build-A-Bird project. And I hope you're going to have a go at that and enjoy it. It's great fun, actually. And there are like literally thousands of different ways to do this. You'll find these birds all over Tinternet. Who knows where they came from? I think they must have migrated up from Africa. This one, I really like this one. This one I used a lot of salt. And this background colour here is phthalo blue. And then on top of that, I put quinacridone gold. And it went this absolutely lovely emerald green colour. And then I chucked a bunch of salt on it and let it sit. And it really looks sort of, I don't know, it looks really textured. It almost looks like feathers, actually. And then I used black with the same colour. I mixed black with it and I did the wing. And this was my sort of second one that I did today, which is just an experiment. You can see how these ones are you could say, a development of the 3 birds that I did all those years ago, which were just very plain, just made by dropping paint into water and letting it run. And I did one a little while ago that's actually also been very popular, had a couple of 100,000 actually, which is amazing. And I talked about doing that, but then I actually in the end didn't do it. And a few people said, oh, that's funny because you said you were going to do so-and-so and you didn't. And I'm like, yeah, but you know what? If you were on camera all the time, you'd make mistakes like that too. So anyway, here it is. This is the development of the one that came before, the one that came after, the one that came before, the one before last. So there we are. I hope you enjoyed that. Bye for now, everybody, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now. Bye-bye.